So up next, we have a presentation from Culpeo Minerals with the ticker code CPO. To tell us more about their Chilean copper projects, I will now hand you over to Managing Director, Max Tuesley. Good morning, Max.
Thank you very much, Jane. Great to be here and great to be able to give everyone an update of where we are in Chile at the moment.
Wonderful. I'll bring up your presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. Culpeo Minerals, as you mentioned, ASX CPO. This will, be an update on our past presentation. That's a couple of months old now. Obviously, we've got a couple of new projects to talk about. On straight into it, onto the investment highlights. Obviously, Culpeo, very straightforward story. We're a Chilean copper explorer. We're targeting high-grade outcropping copper mineralisation in the coastal belt of Chile. We definitely got a strategic focus on projects that are near infrastructure, where we like the low altitude setting of the coastal belt, nothing too onerous from an exploration point of view, and obviously in time it's quite an easy place to build mines once we get to that stage. Obviously Chile is the world's #1 copper producer, so a lot of opportunities in Chile for small to medium size copper exploration companies. So we've got 3 projects to talk about in today's presentation. Obviously, we want to focus initially on Lana, which is our recent acquisition. I want to give an overview of Las Patacas, which is quite an exciting, very large project. And obviously, we've got a third project, Quelon, which we're starting to get some results back from some of our geophysics work. So we'll touch on Quelon at the end of the presentation. Obviously, all of these projects, as I mentioned, have outcropping copper mineralisation. This is not moose pasture. This is areas that we know there's copper mineralisation. Both Lana, Corina and Las Patacas have had some historic drilling, and obviously we're in the process of adding to that data with our new drilling programs. All of the projects have walk-up targets defined from either previous drilling, geochemistry, geophysics results. So very, very encouraging projects, and obviously Lana Corina is quite advanced, having quite a bit of historic drilling. As I mentioned, we are drilling now at Lana Corina. We announced a couple of weeks ago that that particular acquisition. We immediately got the drill rig on the ground. We've obviously alerted the shareholders to the fact that the first hole has hit some significant visual sulfide mineralisation, which is pretty exciting for us, and we'll run through that shortly. Obviously, Culpeo has a very experienced management and board, and with significant Chilean experience, which is puts us in a pretty good position. Just a quick overview of the leadership team there. Obviously myself, Jack McNamara, Zephron Reeves, Paul Smythe, all experienced mining people, mixture of geologists and engineers. We've got Sergio Uribe, who's our country manager, again a very experienced Chilean national who has a very good eye for project acquisition and getting projects across the table that maybe other people don't get a chance to see. We've got some very experienced company secretaries in Perth as well, Shannon and Sarah. So very happy with the team, very energetic team, and I think we're in a very good position to advance these projects pretty quickly. Just a quick note on the capital structure there, currently trading at 25 cents, market cap of 13.5 million, still quite a reasonable treasury there with a approximately 4 million in the treasury. So we're set up pretty well to complete these exploration programs that we have announced to the market. We have a very good backing there with PAC partners who assisted us with the IPO. So I think from a corporate point of view, looking very good. So just on to the three projects. I mentioned Lana, Corina, Las Batatas, Quelon. All of those projects are copper focused. Obviously, Lana, Corina, we're expecting a bit of molybdenum in the assays. Las Batatas is copper and gold, and Quelon is also copper and gold. They're, as I mentioned, all in the coastal belt, all very close to infrastructure, and particularly Lana, Corina, and Las Batatas. You can see there some of the historic work. I suppose it's worth noting too that Las Batatas is very close to the large Candelaria mine, which is over 1 billion tonnes. So good place to be. So just a bit of a visual there. I mean, this stuff certainly gets myself excited, and I think people can get a good feel for the styles of copper mineralisation we have encountered in the drilling programs. Obviously, Lana, Corina, we're seeing substantial chalcopyrite in the core. And over some pretty significant widths. At Las Batatas, we saw a mixture of chalcopyrite in the deeper parts of the drilling, and we also saw quite a bit of high-grade oxide mineralisation closer to the surface. So a couple of visuals there to sort of show people that, number one, we are drilling, and number two, we are seeing some good results from that drilling. So just, I want to start with Lana, Corina. That's where we're drilling at the moment. Obviously, I'm here in Chile also at the moment, overseeing this initial part of the program. We have a right to acquire 80% of Lana, Corina, and that was detailed in the announcement a couple of weeks ago. There has been a bit of historic production at Lana, Corina, mainly from underground, based on the old mine records, sort of 1 million tonne at around about the 2% copper grade coming out of the near surface underground mining that was carried out. The project, from a geological point of view, is a porphyry copper system, but interestingly, it's associated with some high-grade, breccia pipes that host quite a bit of sulfide mineralisation. So it's pretty exciting that we've got two different rock types there, particularly the breccias, because they tend to be higher grade. And then associated with those breccias is the porphyry mineralisation, which is, for a porphyry system, Lana, Corina is certainly higher grade than usual. Just to sort of home in on some of those grades, you can see some of the historic results there. 70 metres at 1.23, 154 metres at 0.7, 178 metres at 0.72, with considerable molybdenum credit in the hole as well. 284 ppm moly over that 178 metre intersection. So this gives us a bit of confidence in what we're seeing in the core. Although we don't have the assays back yet, obviously we're seeing quite a bit of visible chalcopyrite mineralisation, and we are also seeing the molybdenum in the core. So we're certainly seeing similar style mineralisation to what those historic holes did intersect. Mineralisation is at least 500 metres deep, still open at depth, and appears to have a slight southerly plunge to the mineralisation. So we believe that once we get our head around the geometry of the top part of the system, we certainly have potential to chase that mineralisation down as well, particularly at depth and to the south. We also have an opportunity, I think, nearby to probably discover some additional breccia pipes near surface. The first hole of the program, as I mentioned, intersected some pretty
nice looking chalcopyrite from about 50 meters to 250 meters. That hole had a final depth of 450 meters. So we did see the mineralization extend past the 250 meters. That looks like, we're probably going to have some reasonable numbers down to about 350 meters in that first hole. So it's an 8-hole program plan for a total of 4,000 meters. We're expecting the assay results in early May. We're on the second hole now. So the second hole is approximately 150 meters deep at the moment, and we have already started to see some reasonable visible sulfides in that hole as well. So the program initially is basically to identify and confirm the copper mineralization in the near surface breccia pipes, but also start to get a feel for where we can extend mineralization either along strike or at depth. Just on Las Patacas, so as I mentioned, a very major sort of historic copper mining area, not very far south of the large Candelaria deposit, which is one of the larger IOCG deposits in Chile, iron oxide copper gold. We believe Patacas has got a very similar geological setting, similar structural controls, and obviously, as we've mentioned in some of our announcements, quite a significant amount of near surface copper mineralization. And just an overview of our drilling program that to date, we've focused on an area there called Peta 1, where we've delineated mineralization over about 1 kilometre strike length within a much bigger sort of 6 kilometre long copper trend. So a lot of mineralization. It's a significant size to this thing, and you can see some of the grades there are quite reasonable. 14 meters at 0.7, 6 meters at 0.58 in one of the holes, and similar numbers in another hole. So that project has got a lot of size to it, and basically at the moment we're trying to home in on where the better grade material is, and there's a lot of areas that have not been drilled yet. Just some of the potential at Patacas. Obviously, the 6 kilometre long strike is pretty exciting, but there is also some adjacent IOCG targets that we've identified from a ground mag survey that we did a couple of months ago. We are at this moment in time updating our geological maps and trying to position the drilling to test that IOCG target. So that's something that will happen probably after we finish at Lana, Corina. So probably a couple of months away yet, but certainly a pretty exciting IOCG anomaly in that ground mag, and a couple of other targets at Diego East and Far East that we certainly will be following up as well. So just on Quelon, unfortunately, we haven't had because we've got stuck into Lana Corina so quickly, we haven't been able to sort of get down on the ground at Quelon as much as we'd like to, but we certainly have some pretty exciting geology down there, mineralization striking over 10 kilometres, a significant amount of historic sort of smaller scale mining having occurred on the property, and some of our recent geophysics has certainly highlighted quite a number of targets that have never been mined and never been drill tested. So in the coming months, we hope to also get down to Quelon with the drill rig. So I suppose capping off, we're expecting quite a bit of news flow out of Lana Corina. That'll be updates on the drilling progress, what we're seeing in the core. Obviously, we've sent the first batch of samples away for analysis, probably looking at about a 3 or 4 week turnaround on those results. So late April, early May for the drilling results from Lana Corina, and then more drilling both at Patacas and Quelon later in the year. That's about all for Culpeo tonight.
Max, thank you so much for the great presentation. We did have quite a few questions coming through on the drilling and the number of holes that have been drilled, but you did just answer that. So I've got one question for you though. So what excites you most about the projects?
Look, I think, Lana Corina is a de-risked. It's already had that historic drilling. We know the results are there. We've seen the old core. We really do believe that we're seeing the same styles of mineralization in the drilling that we're doing. So we're pretty confident we're going to get similar numbers to that historic stuff. Being near surface, it looks like it's going to amend itself reasonably well to open cut mining if we do get that far down the track. And given the geometry, it won't take us too long after drilling this program to start looking at sort of trying to estimate a resource around that information. So it's being that sort of project, I think that's what's very exciting about it.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like you've got a great program of work, so a lot of news flow coming up. But thank you for joining us and look forward to having you on next time.
Thank you very much, Jane.